Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through what it's like to set up a Predator 3500 inverter generator. I go through one or two a year. They're really good from Harbor Freight, but the quality has changed. It's on and off. It's a little bit different. They keep on changing how the oil changes and whatnot. I'm going to walk you guys through it. So we're walking through here. We're going to open up the box. Inside comes a little baggie of tools and the instructions. I don't need those because I've opened up 10-15 of these by now. But getting out of the box, probably the hardest part. You really have to press with your feet or have a partner hold it down. Buddy, the batteries come pre-installed, except for the battery cables are not hooked up. You have to do that yourself. It's not too hard. It's just getting it actually out of the unit. It's a little hard, so you have to tilt it. But take these caps off, and then you can set up the screws and actually tie down the cables themselves. It all sucks when you're wearing gloves and it's cold, but be patient, you can get it done. So a little trick that I use here is a bit of the cardboard from inside the packaging, because the leftover nut there has to be high enough. The screws are kind of short, so you have to get it pressed up high enough that the screw will be able to grab it and actually draw it up to the head. So I use a little bit of that cardboard pressed underneath it to give it a little bit of a rise. With that cardboard holding it down and kind of lifting up the retainer nut, you'll see it draw up slowly there. Tighten it up and you can pull out the cardboard. Everything's good and golden. Move on to the other side. You're going to get your battery tucked away right here after you finish completing up the battery cables. Get it tucked away, close everything up, and then we're going to add some fresh oil and give her an initial fire. Check the oil. After that, we can go and get her finalized and set up for the initial running of the day. At the top right, here is a link on how to change the oil on one of these units. Right here, I just want to show you how the design keeps changing and it actually makes it harder. The funnel they provide with is kind of a joke. It's too short and it's just going to make a bigger mess, as long with the oil drain. So I like to use the original one from the previous design. It's much longer, sturdier, and it's a much better design. I mean, just look at the difference. Information booklet calls for 10W30. I like to use Walmart full synthetic, and I run it. It's estimated for about 50 hours of runtime before you change it. I run it for 150 hours in between intervals, and it seems to do just fine. It holds 20 ounces total. If you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button and subscribe, I appreciate it. Love you guys. Fill her up with gas right now. It holds about 2.6 gallons, and it will usually run for, I've noticed in the summertime when we're just running fans and stuff, for about 10 hours or so. In the winter, if you're running anything kind of heavy on it, it's usually every 6 to 8 hours. With the new one set up here on the left hand side, I'm going to show you some of the key differences between it and the old design that I actually prefer right here on the right hand side. The oil change access doors on the left hand side in comparison. Something I've noticed with all of these generators, the pull cord constantly rips, so don't be alarmed if you go out there after a few weeks of running it that your pull cord's ripped. It just severs it off. But they're generally the same, they run the same. This access door is a lot easier to get into, to oil change. It's got a little bit of a vacuum drawer now, so it's pulling the door up, but it's easier to get in here. The oil plug, the drain, everything is just easier to deal with on this older design, and I wish they would go back to it. The new one, you have to use a screwdriver, and it's kind of inconvenient when you just want to check the oil, so I really don't like this design. It's kind of poor. So I happen to have a broken tip pocket knife on me, and it turns righty-loosey for some reason. But in here you can see how inconvenient it is. It has this hose extension with an unscrewable cap, and you're supposed to unscrew it, tilt it, and the whole unit. And you can undo the dipstick as well, and it will drain from there, but it usually makes a big mess. So when you tilt it, it's just going to kind of get everywhere inside of here. What I do is take a piece of cardboard and tuck it under, just like this. Also with a shop rag, it'll help kind of collect everything that it misses. But overall, it's just a much poorer design in comparison to the old, and for convenience sake of actually making regular oil changes, it just makes a huge mess, and I don't like it. Over the front here, you can see that the battery tray is on the right hand side and the wheel lock is set up on the right hand side. And then they, for some reason, switched it to the left hand side. Doesn't make a huge difference, it's just harder to access. Overall, they're fairly identical in their design, but I gotta say the oil change alone, it is so much better on the right hand side. The old design was a much better design. Harbor Freight, please go back to it because I don't like this new one. Here's the booklet and the toolkit that comes with the generator. Inside, it'll give you your startup procedures. It does tell you how to set it up, your oil and everything. Here's a little toolkit. It does come with a screwdriver, and I mean, it's a fairly good quality screwdriver. And then they include this 2-piece spark plug remover. So if you assemble it, you should be able to remove your spark plug if you needed to change it or simply clean it for maintenance. It is a 2-piece, so easy to lose parts, but at least they provide some things that if you don't have a socket set that is capable of removing spark plugs, this will at least help. So. Then we have our RV plug here. Cool thing about these generators is they are RV ready. With this plug, all you have to do is apply it, and then your RV can have power on the go. So here's the other end of the funnel. It still is a 2-piece design and it's poor as hell. I really don't like it. If you have direct current, if you want to charge a battery, this is what you'll use. Special plug they provide for you guys. And then your RV plug adapter. Alright, there you have it, guys. The Harbor Freight Predator 3500 generator. It's a cost-effective alternative to the Honda version. I mean, it makes some pretty good power, especially, bang for your buck. But the new design flaws in comparison to how the previous design was, it's definitely a setback. But if you can get beyond that, it's definitely cost-effective for off-grid living, and I appreciate Harbor Freight. Make sure to check out some of these other videos I have of the Predator 3500 series right here.